Welcome to a quick overview of the ICAPP Advantage Proposal form. My goal is to answer most of your questions about successfully completing the process. You can also look at the sample ICAPP Advantage proposal in the ICAPP Liaison Officers section of the ICAPP website to get more ideas. And of course, your project manager is always ready to help. Once your concept proposal is approved, the next stage is the full proposal, and there is a deadline for submitting the full proposal to ICAPP. If you have completed forms in the past, you will find a few changes this time. The biggest one is employer job commitments are not required as part of the proposal. We heard from both institutions and employers that it is difficult getting commitments for available graduates 1 or 2 years in the future. Although ICAPP looks for expedited instruction in its projects, startup time is necessary for institutions to develop and submit proposals. In addition, ICAPP needs time to review them and approve funding. In response to your comments, we are trying a new model that prepares students for employment within an industry rather than with a specific company. You will see the changes in the application form. The full proposal form for ICAPP Advantage is divided into 5 sections. Let's look at each one. The first section details who is involved in the project with a summary of the budget. This helps us reach the right person quickly if a question comes up from one of the people reviewing the proposal. Section 2 is the project overview, what the project will do and what needs the project will meet in the industry. This is your chance to sell the review committee on your project, why it is important and should be funded. This is also where you describe the project's direct dollar benefit to the state, how much the state will get back in taxes for the taxpayer money it invests in your project. ICAPP staff compares the benefit that you calculate with the funds requested. This return on investment is a key criterion for evaluating your proposal as it competes against proposals from other institutions.
Wear your taxpayer hat. Think, would I think this is a good use of my tax dollars?
Be sure to use the formula provided on the form to estimate how much the ICAPP students will generate in state income taxes. In the next section, you will describe 3 things. 1, who your industry partners are. 2, what jobs you are educating students to fill. And 3, how many students will complete the ICAPP program of study prepared for each job.
The more networks you have built in your community, the easier it is to find partners for ICAPP projects. I highly recommend the Georgia Academy for Economic Development and other local leadership development programs. The more employer partners that you have, the better. This emphasizes that the ICAPP students are being prepared to fill an industry-wide need, not just the needs of one company.
Section 4 is the ICAPP program of study. Here you will explain how the project works in detail. What's the curriculum? What are student prerequisites? And any other specifics of your project.
ICAPP involves the USG Academic Affairs Division reviewing and approving ICAPP projects to assure that all of us are working towards the same goals in accord with the USG strategic plan.
A component of Section 4 is about the number of students who will need ICAPP loans. There are a limited number of service cancelable loans available. Your institution's financial aid office can contact the Georgia Student Finance Commission for the most current information on these loans. Section 5 is all about the funds and other support that you will need to accomplish what you describe in Section 4. Portions of this section are designed to identify potential obstacles early so they can be addressed. Be sure to describe what funds you are bringing from other sources to match what the state would provide through ICAPP. This is another important criterion for the review committee. The higher the ratio of private funds to public funds, the better. This includes in-kind contributions.
Columbus State is an active member of the Valley Partnership, which was formed to prepare for the exploding growth in the greater Columbus area. It includes governments and organizations from several Georgia and Alabama counties. Being active in this partnership has made it much easier to secure private matching funds for our ICAPP projects.
To assure all what-ifs are covered, use the final section to describe where you will find students for the program, and that key administrators understand the project and have a chance to address any areas of concern. The budget forms are pretty straightforward. Remember that ICAPP does not pay a percentage of the total project budget for indirect costs. However, if you have direct costs, such as paying administrative staff for the increased workload that a project brings, hiring a project manager, or other specific costs, ICAPP may pay that.
Make sure that your totals here match up with the earlier parts of the application form.
Finally, the institutional commitment form spells out what is expected from each institution that receives ICAPP funds. Because there is no requirement for job commitments up front, institutions will have to make more detailed reports on where the ICAPP graduates take jobs after completing the program and how much their starting salaries are. This gives us the accountability measurements to report to those who fund the programs and help ensure future funding. We have resources on the ICAPP website, such as the workforce development studies for each strategic industry. And that's it. You may always contact your project manager if you have other questions. It is a good idea to involve your project manager in developing the proposal and send a final draft at least 2 weeks ahead of the deadline so they can identify areas to strengthen. We look forward to working with you on an ICAPP project.